In this video, we are going to learn about UseMemo. UseMemo here. UseMemo. It is an hook. UseMemo is an hook, and why? First of all, we will see what is UseMemo. Then what it does. Sorry. First of all, we will see what is UseMemo, not memmer. What is UseMemo? How to use it. Second thing, what it does. Why? So let's talk about what is UseMemo. So basically, UseMemo is an hook like other hooks like UsePaid, UseState, right? We have many hooks. Similarly, UseMemo is also an hook. It's how do we write what it does? So it takes two parameters. The first one is the callback function, and the second one is the array of dependency. It takes two two arguments, not parameters, arguments. First one is a callback function, and the second one is array of dependencies. The point to be noted is the callback function must return a value. The callback function here, the callback function must return a value. How do we use that? Let's see. Let's take a number. Here we are using UseMemo. It's taking this is an callback function, and at last it returns something. See here, this is the UseMemo. It is an hook. It's taking two arguments. The first one is callback function, and the second one is array of dependency. This callback function must return a value. The return value will be memoized by the UseMemo, and that memoized value will be stored here in numbers. Listen carefully. This callback function will return a value. That return value will be memoized by UseMemo. What does memoized means? Memoized means remember. Memoized means remember. So that value will be memoized by UseMemo, and later it will be stored here in number. Why do we use UseMemo? We use why? Because to avoid expensive calculation, we use avoid memo to avoid expensive calculation. What does that expensive calculation? It can be uh, sorting an array, uh, finding an element from an. Let's see this with an example. Let's suppose this is a data and it is an array of numbers. There can be many elements, no doubt, and we have to display this data on the UI in a sorted form. We have to display the data on the UI in a ascending order. If we display the like this, uh, sorted data is data dot map here. I am using a map method to map over the elements. Num. Let me give a unique key. Why? Because it will help React to identify which element has changed or which is not. Let us see here on the UI. Yes, where it gone? Here we go. See, we are able to see these elements as it is, but we want to see these elements in a ascending order, so we can sort it, right? We can sort this data. How do we sort that? Let's use bubble sort. I is equal to 0, I should less than data dot length minus 1, I plus plus. Then again for loop, let j is equal to 0, j should less than data dot length minus I and j plus plus. If I am sorting this data using a bubble sort, data j is data j is greater than data j plus 1, then swap it. Data j data j plus 1, data j plus 1 is equal to temp. Yes, here we go. Now we can see our this element is in sorted, right? Let me here in this console.log sorting, so it will print now sorting 11 times. So whenever this calls, it prints this one and it will sort the data, and here we have it's displaying correct fully. So our target is to sort this data and display on the on the UI. It's working perfectly, right? But there is an issue with this code. Let's see where is the issue. Let's suppose we have a state like value. Use state. We have this state, and we are changing the state, increasing the value by 1. State is value button increase set value plus 1. Here we go. Now here we have data, right? This data is sorting using this for loop, getting sorting using this for loop, and here we are displaying, right? Here it is here we have displayed very well, no doubt. The second point is we have our value, and we by clicking on this button we are changing the value by 1, increasing the value by 1. Let's see how it's working. Let me, when I click here, it increases by 1, right? 2, 3. But can you see, whenever I am increasing here, this for loop is running. We can see here, this will sorting will print 11 times whenever I click. See, it's printing. So whenever the state is changing, what is happening here? Whenever the state is changing, the component re-render, right? When it's re-render, again here the data is initialized with this value, right? Let me print this as well. Console.log data is, so that we can see what it is printing. And here after let me remove this, and here we are printing after sorting the data. After sorting data, see, let me close it and open a new tab. See, when this first time renders, here we can see it's printing here this one. Since it start from the top, here this array will be stored in data variable. Here we have printed the data, so you can see here we have the output as it is, no doubt. After sort, then this for loop runs. Here internally it's sorting, not, I think there, here we have, this should be here. Why? Because every time it will print. So yes, now we can see here, after sorting the data is in the sorted form, which is good, right? But when I am increasing, again we can see here data is in unsorted form, then it is sorting, right? When I am increasing, again it is in sorted unsorted form, and sorting it. Why? Because this is a normal variable. Whenever the component re-render, this value will be initialized to this data. Then again this will run. Here we are sorting using this for loop. The sorting is done every time this value changes. Here whenever Whenever the state is changing, the sorting is running, sorting take place. So this is an expensive calculation, because what is the matter of sorting each and every render at each and every render, right? This is a time consuming. Now what we can do is, here this problem is solved by UseMemo. What is our problem? We want that this method does not calls unnecessarily, because it's taking time to sort the data, and if every time it changes and it's calculating, then obviously our web page gonna slow down. So here our task is to memorize the value. Like once this is calculated, this value must be memoized, so that at every render it does not uh, calculate unnecessarily, and at every render the same value will be returned by UseMemo. Let's see how we can do that. Now that UseMemo is here, the data gets sorted, right? And we have returned the same data from here. We can store this data in a other variable, right? And that other variable can be returned, but there is here I have returned the same data after sorting. Now let me remove these. Okay, let me this one here. Now print console.log sorting start here console. I am consoling log to see the results after sorting. This is data. Now let's refresh it. See, here it's printing. Data is this one, no doubt. Then see, when component render for the first time, this callback function runs. When the component render for the first time, this callback function runs and it's return a value. That return value will be memoized by UseMemo, and UseMemo then return value and stored here in numbers, right? Now instead of data, we are uh, we are now printing the here rendering the numbers, right? So here the data will be returned. That data will be now stored in numbers. Now let's change the state. See, data here again, whenever a state changes, this state where it gone, this one componentary render, right? Componentary render. So again this value is stored in here data, in data variable. Now data printed here, no doubt this data printed here, data is data, we can see here, but this one is not printing. Why? Because this is not running, this callback function is not running, because it runs only one time. If there is no any dependency if there is no any dependency, the callback function runs only one time at the time of mounting. Mounting means when it first time rendering. Now let me close it and open another tab so that we can see our results. Here the component is mounting for the first time. So it's printing data as it is in unsorted form. Now here, as I said, the callback function is UseMemo execute only one times at the time of mounting if it does not have any dependency. So here it does not have any dependency. So for the first time it's running this. Here I have console log sorting start. You can see here sorting start, right? Here this for loop is sorting the data, and after sorting I have calculated the console the data. Here remember, see this carefully, I have logged the data, this one, right? So here it is in sorted form. You can see why it's printing two times, because it will not print in development uh, production time, but definitely here it will print two times. Just ignore it. So you can see now the data is in sorted form, right? Now here when I am changing the state, you can see again the data is initialized with this value. Here you can see it is printing, but this one is not printing. Sorting the start is not printing. Why? Because this callback function is not running, because we know that this callback function will run only one time at the time of mounting if it does not have this, it does not have any dependency. So it does not have any dependency, that's why it's not running. So we are not able to see any sorting start and this one. In spite of this, this number variable, what these numbers, see, when it re-render for the second time, this use memo memoized the value from the previous call and it return the data, the same data, and will store it here in numbers. But you can see here the data has changed. No, this does not have to do anything with this data. Why? Because this data was first returned first time after sorting, and since this is not running for the second time, so the return data was memoized, and at each re-render this memoized data will be stored in numbers. That's why here we are able to see the data is in sorted form. What we can see, yes, sorted form. So let's change the state. Now we can see there is no any this after sorting and sorting printed here. What is happening over here? At each re-render, we know that whenever this value changes, the component re-render, and at each re-render the memoized value, this memoized value is returned by use memo and stored in numbers. This callback function is not running at every render. It's run only at the time of mounting. So this is for now what we have achieved. We have stopped the calculation of expensive calculation. Now this sorting is not this data is not sorting at every render. Now what if I added the, let's say, let me here print what is the number. Number is number. This number. What its value? Let's see. Here we can see the number is the sorted array, because the sorted array is returning here and stored in number. And now whenever the state change, the number is sorted array. See here, this is sorted array and this data is unsorted. That's why here we are able to see the sorted array. Now the second point is, what if it has any dependency? What if it has any dependency? Because there may be a chance where we want to sort the data. Like let's take a scenario that now we want to add value here, this previous value plus this what I can say, a random generate random value and stored here in value, right? And that random value must be displayed here in the sorted array. What is the question? The question is, generate a random number then add that random number, sorry, not add, display that this number here, where it has gone, yes, this number along with the random number in sorted form, sorted order. Means we are going to generate a random number, and here that number should be displayed here in the sorted form. How we can do that? So what we can do, we can here we can generate a random number. So we can now make random number, make a function, and whenever we click on this value increase, this random function will call and do its whatever it is intended to do. Let me generate a number using math floor. Math.random into 100. So the number will be between 0 and 100. that number will be now we are going to append not up, yes, we are going to append that number into data dot push what number, and since the component re-render only when the state changes, right? So we must change the state. Set value number here. By doing this, the number state will change, and since state will change, the component re-render, and always remember here the comparison will take place only at the time of re-render, right? So here the number state changes, the component re-render. When component at the time of component re-render, here it will check its dependency. So now what should be the dependency? Dependency should be obviously where we can give value, because here value are changing. Whenever value are changing, so it will calculate. Let's see. Let me first now click here. See where what is the random number we generated. Let me print it here. Console.log random number. Yes. Now click random where random number is 40, and where is 40 in this? Why it's not where is 40? There is no any 40. Why? Let me check why there is. Why? Because is that number pushed? Oh, yes, yes. Because at each time here this data will be initialized. So each time it is sorting this one only. So instead of pushing this here, we should push the. Now what we are going to do? We are going to store that uh, what we can do, so that we can preserve all our values. Okay, we can store this. Hmm. Now here I am changing this one data. Data, storing the data. Now what we are going to do, then we can't print this value because it is an 0 1. Now let's print. Now value is an array. So when it will click this value, no, what we can do, value and number. Yes. Whenever I am clicking, what is happening? Why it's not Here when I am clicking, a new random number is generating, where it is random number 51, right? That 51 will must okay, because here it's sorting on the basis of data. It should sort on the basis of value, and this one must remove. Now it will, yes. Why it's not? But there is no any sorted data is 34. Random number 3, is there any 3? No. Why? Okay, let me see value.length. Okay, so here of course value is changing each time. Oh, here I am returning this data. This also say well, not the value, because now I must const nums is equal to value. Here we are going to remove this value. What it will be, nums, and now we will return nums. What error? Where? Oh, this one. I dot length I plus plus. Oh yes. I is equal to num dot. Okay, so it's saying I should less than nums dot length minus 1 I plus plus. Hmm. Now here we are going to print not. See, 24 is generated, but why it's not sorting? The value must be in sorted. This not be here. Oh, why? Nums. Okay, because of this. So now this is in sorted form. When I click here, a new variable get added. What is the new data? 39. Here 39 is in sorted for, no doubt. What is the newly created data? Newly created number 29 and 29 here it is in sorted for. So what is happening over here? Whenever I am changing the value,